So give you about 30 more seconds there to finish up on this journaling prompt. And then, if you're comfortable dropping one word in the chat that represents how you're feeling about this journaling prompt, or maybe one word that even lets us know a limiting belief or a self-sabotaging behavior that you have that you're ready to let go of, pop that in the chat. For me, it's definitely self-doubt. I'm ready to release that self-sabotaging behavior. Ah, good one, Susie, compromising. Yes, it's so important to stand firm in our boundaries. And it's okay to have boundaries. It's totally important to have boundaries. Actually, boundaries are a way that we keep people in our lives instead of pushing them out of our lives. So nice choice. Releasing procrastination behavior and control of the unknown. Beautiful, Alicia. Procrastination is such an interesting behavior that we have because a lot of the time we're aware that we're doing it, yet it's this hard cycle to break out of. And so identifying the reasons why you're procrastinating can often be one of the keys to unlocking that behavior. And so that can be done through more journaling. It can also be done through identifying the times of day when you're procrastinating and controlling of the unknown. I think we all can relate to that. We always want to know what's coming. We always want to be able to like direct ourselves, and it's this bit of trust. So hopefully through this practice, you'll feel an ability to actually let go of more of that control and just work through any of these limiting and self-sabotaging beliefs. Okay, there's a follow-up question that I wanted to actually touch on before we move into our next portion, so that we can actually use our breath work to get this energy out of us. So number 3, the question here is, that's the wrong one. The question is, what unexpressed thoughts, feelings, ideas, etc. are weighing me down? So right now in your journal, write down those ideas, those feelings, those things that are keeping you weighed down, so that in our breathwork exercise, we're able to release them. Go ahead and do that. Okay, take maybe about 30 more seconds to express anything else. Other thoughts, feelings, or ideas that are often unexpressed, meaning maybe you hold them inside, you don't say them to anybody else. There might even be an air of shame around them, which keeps you hiding them and keeps them secretive and makes them even kind of bigger than they are. So one of those unexpressed thoughts, feelings, and ideas are weighing you down that this month you're ready to release. Not enough. Yeah, not enoughness. Or was that not enough as in not enough time? Because I realized it could have been a bit of both. Okay, I'm hoping you don't, you're typing good. I can see. If you need more time, just let me know. I'm totally happy to give you more time for that. So just before we get into this breathwork activity, I want you to know, and if you haven't been reminded of it lately, or maybe not at all, that you, Susie, that you, Alicia, are inherently worthy. You are inherently enough, just as you are. The way that you show up in the world today, right now, just as you are, you're enough. You're absolutely enough. You're worthy, you are loved, and embracing that, embodying that is part of the work that we have to do daily. It might come more naturally to some people, but to others, it's really important that we work on ourselves daily and remind ourselves and tell ourselves and learn how to love ourselves first, coming from this place of self-confidence, this inner knowing that there's always enough, living in an abundance mindset, that you are enough, that there is always enough of pretty much everything to go around. That idea that we have that plays in our mind, that there's not enough time, that you don't have enough resources, that there isn't enough money, that there isn't enough, attention or love or any of this to go around. Those are concepts that have actually been changed over time by society, by our families, by our different relationships. And there's an abundance of everything in the world. And when we can tap into that abundance, when we can get out of this state where we truly think and believe that there's not enough, we actually open ourselves up to this world of possibilities we never knew existed. So we'll do a breathwork technique right now to start moving this energy out of our bodies, to get rid of those thoughts, feelings, ideas that are weighing you down. And because you're home, alone, wherever you're at, in your head or in your mind or out loud if it pleases you, every time we do this movement, you can say one of those words, one of those ideas, one of those feelings. So if you're, angle this. If you're in a tighter space, that works too. We're going to stand up, and the movement that we're going to be doing is breathing with our hands up high in the air. And as we exhale, we're going to bend our knees, shake our hands down and behind. So like a literal throwing of that energy. And then we'll roll slowly back up. So we'll inhale, roll slowly. Raise your hands up high. As you exhale, allow that energy to come out of your body. So roll slowly up, inhale, raise your hands, and exhale, back up. Inhale, slowly come up to stand, raise your hands high above you, and exhale, move that energy through your body. You can go at a faster pace if it feels better for your body. Release anything that's no longer serving you. Inhale and bring up all the good vibes, all the good feeling. And exhale, let anything go that's no longer serving you. We'll do this about 5 more times. Inhaling love and light, exhaling doubt and not enoughness. Inhaling purity and knowing. Exhaling procrastination. Inhaling beauty and peace and joy. Exhaling any of those other thoughts or ideas that you need to let go. 2 more like this. Last one, make it good. And release. Then just slowly begin to roll all the way up to stand. And notice the energy in your body. You can close your eyes if it feels nice. Noticing that swelling of energy that moves in your body. That lightness that travels up through your spine to the crown of your head and feels like you're connected to the universe. Embrace that feeling. Know that if those doubts and thoughts come up again, that you have the power and the tools to rid yourself of self-doubt. The first step, becoming aware. Become aware of your limiting thoughts and beliefs and what's weighing you down that you haven't shared. Sharing it can also be really, really powerful because then it takes it out of that secrecy and shame. And it allows you to live from a place knowing that you're connected to others and what you're feeling is totally okay. And it's perfectly normal to feel those feelings. Navigating them, what you choose to do with those feelings is really the game changer in the situation. So breath work, journaling, talking to someone. Oh, so happy to hear, Alicia. I actually like to practice a lot of pranayama or breath work techniques in my yoga practice. And this one is just a super nice one to like literally shake the stuff out of you that is building up and that sometimes it feels hard to release, especially mentally speaking, so we can physically move the energy from our bodies. Awesome. So glad to hear, Susie. So hopefully you're all feeling a little bit lighter now. I want to show you, I think it's still there, the next journal prompt. I'm getting used to doing these practices online with groups. So my technology skills are also up leveling, but sometimes I can't get to the screen that I'm looking for. Pardon me while I get there. Okay, so number 4. What or who do I truly want to keep showing up for or investing in this month? It could be this month, it could be the next month, it could be into the indefinite future. Generally, I like to think in a couple weeks to a month at a time in terms of the full moon and the new moon cycles. So think for you, your time frame that works, and who or what do you truly want to keep showing up for, or do you truly want to keep investing in as you move forward? Journal it, write it down, be honest. Nobody else needs to see this but you, but if you want to share it, we're here. Yes. In yourself. Susie, you speak to my heart. I agree. Yeah. All of you. Investing in all of you is so good. Sometimes we overinvest in others, like we kind of just keep pouring into everybody else. And it's not until something kind of stops us in our tracks that we realize, ooh, time to focus on me. That goes along with how you said about compromising and boundaries. So being able to set yourself up for success for you. One of a tip that I can give you right away as a takeaway that has really improved my life over the years is that I schedule first my time for me. Like I know a lot of people have day planners or phone schedules or however you schedule, but you schedule in that time for yourself first. And not the work time, not the time that you have to do things, but that time that's just for you. So for me, that's my yoga practice. Yes, Alicia. I want to show up for myself and be grateful for what I have. I want to be more mentally present. Oh, great. So these tips will be awesome for you too. When you are setting a schedule for your week, your month, however long you set it for, take the time for you first. It is so important because often we overlook ourselves. Often we compromise on what it is that we truly want for us because we have families or friends, and it seems that in order to love them, we have to serve them first. But you can't serve from an empty cup. And so filling up yourself first, pouring into that investment in you first is so crucial because it allows you to show up then better for everybody else in your life. So I like to schedule in first my yoga and meditation. That's my everyday thing that goes into my planner right away. That's the first thing that I do for myself. Then I like to go even a little step further and add in like nice self-care things. So like maybe I want to go for a pedicure in the month. And so I'll schedule that in first for me. And I don't compromise those things unless it serves me also. Compromising is not necessarily a bad thing, but when you continuously overstep your own boundaries and take away from yourself to serve others, this can be a challenge. Yeah, but yeah, planning in the time. Another tip that I would offer, and some, there is a bit of guilt when we are doing things for ourselves. There can even be some guilt when we spend money on ourselves, especially if we have others in our life that are demanding. When you show up for yourself, when you invest in yourself, and when you communicate why you're doing that to the people that you love that are around you, they also get on board. They understand. And if they're not necessarily understanding, that might signal to you that something else needs to be addressed. Because those who love us really do want us to show up as the best versions of ourselves. And so they understand and would want to give us time for ourselves. Just like if you had a husband or a sister and they told you that they really needed some alone time, your first response probably would not be, actually, that doesn't suit my needs. Your first response would very well be, of course, if you need that time to you, go ahead and do that. We need to start considering ourselves like we would a loved one. You need to love yourself first before you can truly show up and love everybody else around you. If you have any questions at any point, also just like pop them in the chat. I'm happy to offer tips and tricks or offer any kind of resources I've come across. And then the next journal prompt before we get into our movement practice, what kinds of new possibilities have I begun to sense for myself? And I use the word sense here on purpose because we generally get this sense of things before we actually move into action or even thought. We can sense things before we actually think things or know things for certain. So what kinds of new possibilities have you begun to sense for yourself? And perhaps you've begun to sense them for yourself even during this practice. Susie, excellent question. So one of the ways that we can start to set boundaries in taking care of others, especially in that emotional piece, we can start to lead by example. So if you need to not be relied on so much from others' perspectives when they need to be sharing with you, you could start modeling the behavior that you ask people before you dive into whatever your agenda is, if they have the time and the space to listen to you right now. So for example, you might say to your partner, I have something that I want to discuss. It might require some emotional support. Are you able to help me with that right now, or would you rather we discuss that at a later time? When you model and you lead through example in the way that you want to be treated, people start to reflect that back to you a lot of the time. You could also be really clear about it. And if it's somebody that you're very comfortable speaking frankly to, you could say to them, there are going to be times when I'm available and happy and ready to listen. There's also going to be some times when I'm not actually going to be able to fulfill your needs right then and there. It doesn't mean I'm not able to listen to you. It doesn't mean I'm not able to help you. But right now, this isn't the time for us to do that. Can we arrange a time in the future? Or can we arrange a time in an hour from now? Simply letting those people know that you hear them and you acknowledge them and you want to help makes the world of difference. Then they're far more willing to step back and realize and reflect and go, okay, but it doesn't have to be immediate. Is that helpful at all?
Yes, it is.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm just thinking of, yeah, it's a good way to discuss more about these boundaries with the friends, and then they can mimic and know how to approach.
Mm-hmm.
But also I kind of noticed that I am jumping more in like, oh, let me help you. Oh, let me listen to you. Like, I'm not sure. Maybe it's like I'm avoiding my problems, and it's just a way to, yeah, deflect of my own problems and let me listen to you because I cannot deal with mine. What do you think?
What an insight. That could be totally what's showing up for you. And then you have to find out where really, what is it stemming from? Because if it is stemming from you avoiding your own problems, then there's some deeper work to be done there. However, if it's you trying to, you just trying to help, and maybe your help isn't necessarily needed at that moment, that's a boundary that you can set for yourself, where you say, I won't step in until this. Until
okay, I will note that down.
Yeah, some kind of indicator that lets you know, oh, they need me. Now I can step in.
Okay. That's a good, good, I would say, not proposition, sentence. I won't step in until
I'm needed.
I feel, well,
until you're
sorry?
Needed, until you're required, until you're needed, until you're asked. Alicia, you're saying, I'm learning to love people from afar, accepting that sometimes it is best not to react at every situation. Yeah, that's so good. You know, it's hard sometimes to not be reactive. Especially there's certain relationships in our lives that instantly trigger us. They cause us to be reactive, and it's kind of like we blew the top and there it goes. So being really aware of that is super important, and learning to love people from afar is a beautiful way to still love, but know that like getting involved might not necessarily be the best for anybody involved in the situation. Also being aware that you want to be able to respond rather than react is so important. That is its own level of awareness. A lot of people aren't even aware that like they just react to situations. So when you're noticing, or you know that you're going to be entering into a situation where it might be harder to, let's say like neutralize your reaction, you can prepare yourself ahead of time by maybe doing some visualization about how you'd like the situation to go, and actually manifesting it and putting your energy to where you want your attention and focus to be. You can also keep loving people from afar and know that that's okay too, and that sometimes your boundary is what needs to be put first, because it can be for the benefit of your mental health and kind of the well-being of everybody else, and that's okay too. And breathing exercises that are simple and not even noticed can be beautiful to help us not react at situations, but rather to respond. So I am, my whole life, I have been a reactor to things. Like my mother used to joke that I was like a nuclear reactor, and I would just go off. And so over years and years of practice, it's taken a lot of time and a lot of effort to recognize when I'm in a situation where I might become reactive, to prepare myself beforehand, to visualize how I'd like it to go. And then when I'm in that situation, taking breaths to myself that nobody else is noticing, but they do a lot because we're calming down our nervous system. So when our bodies are in this flight response, we tend to react. And we can actually train our bodies to go into this more quiet, resting state where we respond by breathing in through our nose deeply, holding it at the top for a beat or two, and then lengthening your exhale to be longer than that inhalation was, and holding again at the bottom. So for example, it might look something like inhale for the count of 6. So we'll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, hold, 2, then exhale for 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 1, 2. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2. Exhale, 6, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, hold. If you practice this kind of breathing where you make your exhalations longer than your inhalations, just quietly in your own space for like a minute, the wonders that you do for your central nervous system and calming it down are mind-blowing. We have this nerve that runs from the base of our brain down through our body in our and through our diaphragm. Our diaphragm is where we breathe from. And when this muscle is contracted around all the time, we don't breathe properly. But when we slow down our breathing, we allow all of this to relax, and we're literally able to change our brain state, because instead of being in a flight or fight response, we're in an actual resting, ready to conquer the world, give it to me information, receptive response mode. So I would suggest that you can try that, especially because other people can't necessarily see you're doing it. You're just doing it quietly, and maybe you're counting on your fingers if you need to. Give it a try. It's just a beautiful game changer for me. Alicia, I'm just reading what you said. Thanks for sharing that. I often prepare for the worst. I like the idea of visualizing how we would like it to go instead. Ooh, that's so good. We so often think everything the worst. Some situation happens, we immediately go to the worst case scenario. But what if? And I teach this to children that I encounter, especially ones who I work with who have severe self-sabotaging behaviors, is that you want to imagine the best case scenario, because both of them literally require that you trust that something's going to happen. So you could either have fear that it's going to go the wrong way and it's going to bomb and everything's going to go terribly, or you could have faith that the best possible outcome is going to come to you because you're manifesting it and you're believing and you're trusting. It might not happen the exact way you want to. Those are the details that we talk about that we try to let control go of. But knowing that you've set that intention, that you're manifesting your desire, that you're opening yourself up to the realm of possibilities of beautiful outcomes, really will help you to see the world in a different way. Okay, so let's now do some yoga asanas or yoga poses. We have a gentle moon salutation that we will flow through. And it's one that we start one way on our mat and then kind of turn ourselves circular so that it's a full moon type practice. Okay. I'm going to turn on this light behind me so that you see properly. Maybe this one too. And then you're going to need just a little bit of space for this. Okay. I will stop sharing the screen so that you can see all of that part. So ladies, wherever you're at, come to stand on your mat or on your space. We'll come in a wide-legged stance with our toes pointed towards the front of the room, the outer edges of your feet, really feel them pressing into the earth, and draw that energy up through your inner legs, through your thighs, all the way up. Feel the power, feel the energy, and lift your hands up high above you. As you exhale, step your right foot in, then inhale to grow a little bit taller. And exhale, lean to the left side. If you're mirroring me, that's totally okay. It doesn't actually matter which side you do first. Spin your heart space open. Look up into your elbow crease. Take one more breath here. And then inhale, come back up through the center. Exhale, step your feet out. Point your toes outward and your heels inward. I'm actually just gonna move it down a little bit so you can see what my feet are doing. More important than what my hands are doing. So your toes are outward, your heels are inward, and then you can sink down a little bit lower, using your hands even to press your knees open so they're tracking toward the outer edges of your feet. And then bring your hands up like a goddess or goddess pose. Sit a little lower, stay here for one more breath. And then exhale, stretch into like a star pose. Take a deep breath, fill and take up space. Become expansive. Then bring your hands to your hips. Your right toes point to the edge of your mat and allow your left toes to turn in now at a 45-degree angle, like a warrior stance. We'll bump our hips to the back, stretch our hands out wide, and tip our bodies into triangle posture. Reach down towards your ankle, doesn't have to touch. And then look up towards your thumb. Engage your abdominals. Breathe through both side bodies. Take one more breath here. And allow your arm to pull you up to the sky. Keeping your hands wide, then we'll bring them back to our hips. And turn, popping up onto our back heel so that both toes are now facing forward. Step halfway in. And as if you're looking into a pond, look forward and lean forward, hinging from the hips, drawing your elbows back toward each other for a pyramid posture. If it's in your practice today, you can even bring your fingertips to the earth, or perhaps you have a block near you and you bring your fingertips to a block. Otherwise, keep your hands on your hips, engage your thighs, engage your calf muscles, breathe deeply. On your next inhale, come back up out of the posture. And step your left foot back in space, lower onto the left knee. Untuck the back toes. Walk your front foot a little bit more forward, keeping your knee in line with your ankle. And then begin to just sink into the posture, just moving your body forward in space. Being careful here not to push too far, you know your body best. Maybe even you bring your fingertips to the mat and walk your back knee back in space a little bit more, getting a deeper stretch here. Take one more breath like this. And then tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and you're going to walk your hands towards the center of your mat, popping up onto your right heel and lowering down onto your left foot. If your foot doesn't touch the mat, like your heel doesn't touch the mat, it's okay. You can stay up here like me. Flex your right toes towards your face. Your fingertips can stay on the mat, or if it's in your practice, sit up tall and bring your hands to heart center. You're kind of balancing through the left leg. One more breath. And then bring your fingertips to the mat, coming in through center for our yogi squat. You can heel toe your feet together and sink low. If your body doesn't move in this position, you can be up here in a squat position. Otherwise, sit on a block for support. And bring your hands into your heart center. If it's comfortable for you to hang out low like this, go ahead and do so. And then we'll walk our fingertips towards the right, this time popping up onto our left heel, allowing the left toes to flex towards the face. Your right heel may or may not be touching the earth, that's okay. And you might notice one side is different than the other. Also very normal in everybody's body. We have one side that's different than the other. And then if it pleases you in your practice today, have the balance, bring your hands to heart center. If you fall, the earth will catch you. It's always there for you. One more breath. And bring your fingertips to the earth. And walk yourself to the left side of your mat. This time, letting your right knee come to the earth, then tuck the right toe, and even slide that leg back in space. Your left knee should be on top of your left ankle stacked. And you're opening through the hip crease, so lean your body forward in space. Inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. Your fingertips might come to the mat even. One more breath here. And And then go ahead and tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and step in about halfway. This time we're growing our pyramid posture from the ground up. So fingertips on the earth or on a block, whatever serves you. Maybe bring your hands to your hips and bring your elbows back towards each other. As if you're peering into a pond, try to keep that straight-ish back position. And then come all the way up, engaging your abs. Inhaling deeply. Step your back foot further back in space. Open your arms wide. Bump your hips towards the back. Then reach forward and tip into your triangle posture on this side, your left side body. If you're collapsing into the side, lift through both the sides. So often we dump into the side that's closest to our leg, but we want to create this big, beautiful space in here as we reach up and look up towards our thumb. Your lower hand can rest on the shin in front or behind. One more breath like this. Now inhale, come up out of the posture. Exhale, turn your toes to face the front. Reach your hand up like a glorious star, expanding in the night sky. Allow your heels to come inward, your toes pointing outward. Sink into your goddess pose one more time, pressing your knees towards the back edges of your feet. Hands open wide, elbows at a 90-degree angle. And if your body is kind of forward in space like this, just try sitting back as if you were a robber pressed up against a wall trying to sneak away. One more breath here. On your next inhale, come up all the way. Step your left leg in to meet your right. Both toes facing forward. And we will lean to the right side. Look up towards your left elbow crease. Engage your abdominals. One more breath. Inhale, come back up through center. And exhale, bring your hands into your heart space. Close your eyes. And feel your aliveness. Feel the beating of your heart, the pace of your breath. And notice your feeling. Notice your lightness, the connection to the universe around you through energy. And now, at the end of your asana practice, I invite you to manifest something that you truly desire, whether you've told anybody else or not. Take a moment now to say it in your head or in your heart or visualize it, however you manifest. You might even go to your journal and write it down. And the way I like to close my yoga asana practices, I bring my hands to heart center and express gratitude towards myself and others for sharing time and energy, and also for giving time to myself, honoring the need for physical love, for connection in my body. Then I bring my hands, thumbs pressing in towards my lips, reminding me that my words are manifestation, and whatever I speak is powerful. So I am careful with my words. I am kind with my words and loving. And then I bring my thumbs to my third eye to connect with my inner knowing, my intuition, and with my connection to higher self, that I may be guided to follow and forge the path, even when it might seem tough. All of these things I say, namaste. Thank you for sharing your light and love in this practice with me. So welcome. After the asana practice, please tell me how did that go for you? How did that make you feel?
I really liked the triangle pose. That was a new one. I mean, almost all of the moves were new for me, but it was a really good stretchy one.
Triangle pose is one of my favorite all-time yoga poses because of the stretchiness, but also I really like triangles, so it kind of just resonates with me. Yeah, it's a great hip stretch. It's really nice and lengthening for our side bodies and our front space. We don't even notice when we tip over and we twist up to the sky. We actually open our chest space as we look up towards our thumb and allow everything to align.
Yes, I feel more open in the chest area with the heart and everything. So that's how I feel after this practice.
Perfect.
Nice.
So glad to hear it. I think I had one more prompt. I'm not sure if I wrote it on the screen that I wanted you to journal on now. I did not write it on the page, but I will tell it to you and you can listen to it and then write it down, your answer to it. What is one thing that I will step outside of my comfort zone and embrace renewal or embrace expansion with? I'll write it down also in the chat. What is one thing I am willing to face discomfort with and step out of my comfort zone to feel renewal or expansion? Be one thing or area, I suppose. And if you'd like to share your any of your responses, again, you're free to do so, and I'm even invited to do so. You're welcome to do so, but if not, also cool. Important work, Susie. Also, Alicia, so important. Tools and strategies that we can use for both of these. Both of your situations, actually, and I myself have similar work to do always. Would be I like to meditate on things, especially when I know that there's something challenging that I might be faced with, or if my internal world is a little bit going in circles. I like to try to meditate. And meditation can seem scary at times because we have to sit with our thoughts and just stew, and maybe we're not good at it or whatever that feeling, that limiting belief might be. But practicing a guided meditation is a beautiful way to focus on somebody else's voice and to focus on the positive intentions that come through in a guided meditation, and to allow your mind to calm, your feelings to calm, to have that perspective, and then to deal with whatever the feelings are. And also, we actually get to choose how we feel. We get to choose how we spend our time. We often find ourselves falling victim to our choices, or that we don't even realize our choices, because the situations that exist, we can't necessarily change those, but how we respond, how we react to a situation, how we feel about it, how we think about it even, is totally up to us. And I can send you both out after, as a thank you for joining me for this full moon ritual. I'll send you both out a gratitude journal to your email addresses you signed up with, so that you can actually practice being present daily. The first thing you do each day, or if it's not the first thing you do, but like whatever you do in your day, to be present in gratitude. Grounding yourself in gratitude opens up a world that maybe you're aware exists, or maybe you're not yet aware that it exists. When we live out of a place of gratitude, when we start with gratitude each day, we start to see the joy and the love in the little things, and realize that we are more present than we thought for ourselves. We actually have a lot of great things going on for ourselves, that even if others reject us, that doesn't shake our self-confidence. And we learn to like work through the trauma and heal the past, heal the present that's overwhelming us. And it can be part of a beautiful practice that you engage with. So I would love to send that out to both of you after we leave this call today. Before you go, I did want to just share with you about the program that I'm offering right now. It is called Heart's Home, and it is a holistic wellness journey that's over 12 weeks, and it's customized to each and every person that I work with. The program is designed to help you level up and live on purpose in your own life. You will receive one-to-one guidance and care throughout the journey as you rediscover who you truly are, align with the divine within, and become your best version of self, so that you can show up and live your best life. And of course, you can totally achieve your goals on your own. I believe that anybody can do anything they set their mind to, but it's so much more fun. It's so much easier, and it's just a joy when you do this kind of practice and self-discovery work with somebody else. I invested in myself and got a coach, and it has been a life changer for me over the last little while, because knowing that there's other people out there working on similar goals, or even if they're not exactly similar goals, but they're there supporting you and cheering you on, it makes everything just joyful and fun. And you have somebody to go and report that to and to tell them about it, and they're so excited to hear from you, and it's a really transformational experience. So Hearts Home is open for registration, and there are spots left. If you're struggling with feeling lost, if you're struggling with feeling your dreams are too far out of reach, or like you're living a life that doesn't align with your values, or like something is holding you back, or maybe you just love to completely transform your life, but you can't do it alone, I invite you to have a conversation with me. I offer free 45-minute coaching sessions, so you can have a sampling of what it would be like to work with me in Hearts Home. You will walk away with tools that you can immediately implement into your daily life so that you can start living your purpose. And you will get clarity on your goals. You'll heal your relationship with yourself on all levels: physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. And you can create alignment in your life to truly discover your soul's purpose and live that purpose. You might have felt like you've tried everything in the past and it hasn't worked. You might still feel stuck, and you might still feel like you haven't met your goals, and you're just trying to survive, let alone thrive. What if this time it was different? What if this time you had someone to show up and show you the way, to help you with each step, to cheer you on, and to hold you accountable in the most loving and safe environment, so you could truly feel supported and focused, instead of worrying about all those little how details? Well, in Hearts Home, that's what we'll focus on for you: the why. The what and the how will be delivered to you. I've got that part. So you get to show up and do the hard work, so that this time you achieve the results you desire. So included in this program, you will receive weekly private yoga classes, bi-weekly coaching sessions, bi-weekly Reiki and healing sessions, Ayurvedic nutrition, evaluation, meal plans and recipes, a library of on-demand yoga and meditation practices, Hearts Home workbook and program materials, a lifelong support community and private Facebook group, and bonuses including oracle readings, masterclasses, and pop-up events. So I really believe that everybody is worth setting aside the time for and making the investment in themselves. If you're ready to commit to transforming your life and creating the life you've always dreamed of, I'm here to support you, and I'd love to have a chance to talk with you more specifically about your goals and if Hearts Home is the right fit for you.
Sounds good.
Below in the chat, I'm just going to drop my information. So if you want to get a hold of me, you have all the ways to get me. And I really would love for you to keep coming. I have these events every 2 weeks. So every full moon and every new moon, I host a free yoga ritual, because I think it's so important to spread this kind of love and allow people to, let go, and also then manifest and create new things each and every couple of weeks, so that we stay on track and we help support each other and uplift each other in this way. Morning meditation when you're not a morning person. Yes. If you also are a snoozer, one of the fun things to do is to put on a slightly longer guided morning meditation and then allow yourself to snooze back into sleep, with the caveat that I like to use more subliminal ones then. And what I mean by this is you can use binaural beats, and I have a playlist on Spotify, but binaural beats, and what I might be spelling that a little incorrectly, but anyway, what happens is there's different frequencies that go in through both ears, so you listen to it with headphones, and the frequencies, what they do in between your brain, the science I'm not incredibly sure of, to be fair, it sends subliminal messages to your brain, into your subconscious state, and it allows you to meditate without necessarily sitting there in that conscious fixed idea of meditation. It's a different kind of meditation. And I think it's a really great one if you're not a morning person, because you can kind of like lull in and out of sleep, but still have the benefits of like meditating and expressing gratitude, because there's different kinds of tracks that you can listen to. Some are for manifesting your dream life. Some are for gratitude. Some are for even like releasing past traumas. So there's so many different options out there. And that's what I like to do when I'm having a sleepy morning. But if you're not a morning person and you'd like to set into an actual meditation practice where you're sitting upright and you're very alert, I would suggest by first scheduling it into your calendar, making sure it's in there and knowing that that time is for you. And then when that alarm goes off, that you say, okay, I'm going to start. And you don't start with a 10-20 minute meditation at first. You could, but to build successful habits that last and last and last, we should start them small and add on. So I would suggest doing a 2-minute mindfulness breathing exercise or meditation in the morning. And if you have like a smartwatch of any sort, they actually come with those built in, and you can swipe to it, and it has like breathing where you just follow the shapes for 2 minutes. You can also find follow the shape breathing on YouTube, and it will literally be a minute of shapes moving in and out for you to just breathe with. Start small and build up your practice, because the benefits of meditation are blowing all of the medical stuff out of the water. We can lengthen our lives, we can decrease stress, we can reverse heart disease. There are so many amazing things that we can do with meditation. So if it isn't part of your practice, I totally recommend you start small, getting even 1 to 2 minutes in each day. So try that for a week or two. Commit to 1 to 2 minutes a day. And if you're not a morning person, okay, fine. Do it at the end of the day. No problem. It doesn't have to be done in the morning. Yeah. When I first heard about meditation, that was also a very common thought that I had, like, I don't know that I can do this for so long. And one of the victories of meditation is that every time you notice your mind wandering and you bring it back to the breath, or maybe you just notice your mind wandering, that's a victory. You're aware of your thoughts. So meditation doesn't have to be this stoic practice that you can't think in. Our thoughts are there. They're always going to be there. The goal of meditation is to be able to have those thoughts settle. So if you think about it, and I work with children a lot. Ooh, a Headspace app. Yeah, Headspace is amazing. I work with children a lot. And one of the things, and you could even do this for yourself because it's pretty, if you have a snow globe, but it's the same idea as a snow globe. You fill a jar with water and dish soap, and then you put in sparkle or glitter, and you screw it up tight and maybe even glue it. And then you shake it, and then you put it down. And just as the sparkles settle to the bottom of the jar, you let your mind quiet. You focus on your breathing. You focus on looking at the sparkles. If your mind wanders with a thought, direct your attention back to the sparkles. And then once they've settled, the idea is that your mind has also calmed and your mind has also settled. Yeah, sparkly water or a snow globe. Snow globes work fine if you have a big one. I have this little one that doesn't quite do the trick. But tools to use for yourself and for others, especially people with kids, because it's a visual. And people think that as we get older and we're adults, we don't need a visualization, but visualizations are often so helpful. So that's why I recommended the shape breathing, where you literally see shapes expand and contract with your breath, or sparkle jars. If you have any other questions or comments, I'd love to hear them from you.
Thank you for this lovely ritual for today, was really nice.
I'm so pleased you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your energy with me. I look forward to connecting with you ladies in the future. I will send you out that gratitude journal as a gift of thanks. And hopefully I'll see you next time on the line.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, Alicia. I'm so glad you had a great time.